Okay, well, it's been a while since I've been at this. As I suspected, I didn't so much as touch the supporting characters from the One-Year War. My plan was to because this is all very samey. A bunch of these characters just run the exact same missions. You just use different mobile suits. So I was gonna kind of stagger this with Xeon and with the Titans One-Year War missions, just so that it's not just the same thing over and over and over again. We're gonna start with Kai, because I don't... The gun tank's a little... meh. Of course, we have to start with the gun tank, naturally. Well, given that we have to defend Armoro, recover seems like it would be the best option. Kai is a character who went through an interesting development. He went from being very non-committed to what was going on and very sort of slack-jawed to all of a sudden, in Zeta Gundam, he's like a super spy guy that's... It was just kind of incredible, his journey. He took a level in badass, I think is what I'm trying to say. Wait for him to land, or get close. Boom. That's not... Timing is a key element in this game. Hitting your target usually depends on when you take your shot. Oh my god, the gun tank is so lacking in maneuverability. That was the big Xeon point with the Federation mobile suits. Sure, they had firepower, but they could not move. And fundamentally, Char said it right out, that it doesn't matter how powerful it is if it can't hit you. Okay, yeah, the D-pad on this controller is not the best. It's really, like, it wants to swing me to the left, and I'm pressing just flat forward. The contacts might have gotten... Because I've noticed this, like, chemical decay in the silicone contacts. Or maybe it's some kind of humidity buildup, or rust, or I don't know what it is. Important to note that the gun tank is actually a two-seater. There is a gunner seat in the head, and then the actual pilot is in the core fighter in the abdomen. Now, it's funny that the pilot of the suit can just eject using the core fighter, assuming that's not destroyed in battle, but yet the gunner is just kind of trapped in a doomed mobile suit at that point. You know, honestly, I struggle how, without the core fighter exchange mechanism aboard White Base, how you would actually get out of a gun tank. Because think about it, Gundam and the gun cannon have backpack rocket boosters, which could be used to separate the upper body from the lower body. Like, that's an important thing to consider. But the gun tank does not have that. Those pods in the rear, if you look at the line art for the internals, are actually storing the ammunition for its main guns. So how exactly does it separate the upper body from the lower body without any boosters to affect that separation? The gun tank is all kinds of just bad. I mean, it's not even really a mobile suit. It has no hands, it's got no legs, it doesn't even technically have a proper head. And weirdly, in the case of the gun tank and the gun cannon, their mass production versions were actually better than the prototype versions. The mass production version of the gun tank lost the core fighter, which I'm going to go with recover. The mass production version of the gun tank had machine guns instead of rocket launchers in the arms, and they were more flexible, had more ammunition, and could fire faster. And by removing the core fighter, the waist was more flexible, so it could train its main guns against close targets more quickly. And sure, it wasn't made out of the Luna titanium or the Gundarium alloy, as they, like, retconned it. But it just performed better, and the mass production version of the gun cannon was more accurate and more maneuverable than the prototype. It's just that for some reason, the best of the prototypes got turned into a watered-down POS in the gym that was garbage. God, they gave the guy a name, but I do not even remember there being a Stetch in the series. But you're talking about a long time since I watched the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Oh, it's my favorite mobile suit, and I'm fighting against. Ooh, he undercooked that one a bit, I think. See, Ramba Ral is just like the old guard of being a soldier, and him calling out Armoro for basically being a scrub is not inaccurate. If Armoro had any say in the matter, he wouldn't even be here. Armoro was forced into combat. He's a victim of circumstance. Thing is, Ramba Ral, interestingly, wasn't loyal to the Zabi family, because he was actually one of the ones who facilitated concealing Casval and Artesia, Char and Sayla. So then why is he fighting for Zeon? Well, apart from the fact that he's supposed to be like an insert for Rommel, you know, World War II German Rommel, who also wasn't all that interested in the political ambitions of his country, but understood that refusal to fight would be bad for him and his family. Ramba Ral is also a bit of a blood knight. He enjoys the fight. So that might be also be why he's fighting for Zeon. Yeah, the gun cannon's got plenty of firepower, and it's actually really useful up against some of the later units, like the Psycho Gundam, because they have that beam barrier. The gun cannon uses shell-firing weapons, which are not affected by an eye-field barrier. It's important to note that, like, defensive energy shields would be developed in the Gundam cannon, but in the Universal Century timeline, that was a F91. I think it's F91. That was an F91 thing that they developed a way of constraining a plasma field via an eye field barrier to create an energy shield. Because the eye field barriers don't block projectiles, they deflect Minovsky particles, which... here's the one where we really need to recover because of the defense. This game can't really capture exactly how this fight went down, because... yeah, the limitations of the engine that were sort of created here, it will not allow for it. So, we just have to take out Hamon, and so we are going to just lean on this thing really hard. This would be even easier with the Gundam and the Gundam Hammer. I think I already did that. I don't know, like I said, it's been a long time. I'm happy to pick this game up again, though. I don't remember this thing being this tanky. We'll get there. Well, we got the recover charged. And Hamon has taken more damage than Ryu. Of course, I think Armoro was running interference for a second there. He's not anymore. a whole lot to say about this fight. It's literally just stand on the back of the thing and blast the crap out of it. So no, because that Gallop class had a trailer, and Haman, like, sent the trailer sailing into White Base to ram it, if I'm remembering correctly. And she was piloting a Magella... Oh, I got an S rank. She was piloting a Magella atop the sort of VTOL tank turret that is also a jet, question mark. And while Armor was trying to hold the thing from slamming into White Base, which was, like, landed or something at the time, Ryu, who was still injured, got into a core fighter and flew out, and we're not certain if he was deliberately kamikazing into her, or if he was just not all there because he was still injured. He ended up ramming her, and that was the end of Ryu. Assault. I think this is after Miharu for Kai. Again, it's been a long time. Because, yeah, one of the catalyzing events of Kai's character, and a great way of fueling character development, was he kind of got a crush on a girl that he thought was, you know, just a victim of the war. She was, in fact, a Xeon spy, although he never found that out, I don't think. And she ended up dying in a complication of a battle. It's not like she was piloting a mobile suit or anything. And he felt some personal responsibility to that, and decided it was time to man up and stop being the man baby that he had been up until that point. Like I said, but between this and Zeta Gundam, like, Kai took several levels in badass. He's just wearing the suit, constantly got, like, his characteristic shitty grin. Nah, I didn't figure. That'll connect, though. I should stick to what the gun cannon is good at, the actual guns. Yeah, don't forget, in midair you can use the recoil from your cannons as an ad hoc evasive maneuver. As I just did. Oh, finally got me. Good on ya. You also have to consider that animation stun in this game is a major part. You want to pick when you make your shots. There's also immunity when knocked down. There we go. Blammy. Partner destroyed. Oh, I always hate it when that's like an objective. Because you can be doing fine and your AI buddy just completely shits the bed and then it's over. Little sort of like model work details that they put into the texturing of these I like. You can see noticeable burn scoring on the back of the gun cannon's waist and the Gundam's waist. And there's all these other sorts of areas where oil or moisture would have leaked. And you can see it's just good detailing work. Ow. I mean, I keep saying you don't need polys to push the quality of a model. Now, this is kind of like White Base. We want to not have these guns. I mean, canonically, these guns can rotate, but in this game, they're just modeled with vertical travel of the barrels. The turrets themselves don't actually turret. Oh, that didn't connect at all. Ooh, fratricide. Not cool, Zaku. I'm just taking care of both of the big guns, especially since Armoro could do a stupid like he just did there for a minute and run the risk of getting blown up. Problem is you can't target the turrets, you have to position yourself appropriately. Oh, come on. I would have knocked out his helmet pipe thing if I was that close. Now, this thing also has anti-aircraft turrets. They're harder to get a good angle on, though. Oh. Thank you. I don't want to be that close to a goof. Or golf. Or one of the, like, half-dozen interpretations of how that's meant to be pronounced. Oh. Okay. Thank you for parking right next to me. Thank you for parking directly above me. Oh no, Armoro stole my kill. Would it really have been so difficult for them to have given the gun cannon, like, just a physical sword or something? I understand that that's entirely antithetical to its role as a mid-range support fire mobile suit. But still, I'm down to kickboxing as my means of, close-range defense. If I'm remembering my lore correctly as well, this beam rifle was not originally equipped to the gun cannon, and in fact is not actually a gun cannon beam rifle. This was a prototype of the beam rifle that the Gundam would end up using. Just trying to max out points. I want to get as many mobile suits as I could before I attack the thing. Yeah, look at that, 13,000 battle points. Ah, Jaburo. Again.
Yeah, count on me. Miharu, I can't sit around and mope about your loss. I'll crush the Zeons so innocent people like you won't have
Yep, he just referred to her. My audio leveling has changed since I last recorded this, so I'm not actually sure how well the game audio is coming through. It may not be coming through that well at all. Oh, what? That connected? Not expecting that. Do not fight amphibious mobile suits underwater. That is a bad idea. You, however, are not amphibious. Although technically beam weapons would not work underwater at all. They've made that point several times. There's a reason why Zeon's amphibious mobile suits have claws instead of hands. Yeah. Feels good not to be fighting the Gundam again, because that's always just such a pain. mean, it's bad enough the kind of ridiculous buffs that named characters get in this game, but that... Oh, God. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, all the expanded mobile suits that are present in the One-Year War are not featured in this game. There is no Pygog or Zagok E from War in the Pocket. There's no Camphor or Gundam Alex. Technically, the reason they made Federation vs. Zeon Deluxe was because it featured the Ground Combat Gundam and the Ground Combat Jim, which were not in the original series. They were in the 8th Mobile Suit Team, or if you're more familiar with the compilation movie, I think it was called Miller's Report. A more realistic take on the Gundam. You got a team that is not a bunch of ace pilots. They're a bunch of regular guys. All with really fleshed out characters, though, which was nice. And still Gundam's prevailing anti-war message. I mean, they were literally kind of Romeo and Julieting in that one. Whoa! Ooh, death by head Vulcan, that's embarrassing. That's not even designed for anti-mobile suit combat. That's intended for, like, shooting down missiles. Akai. Speaking of the Akai, I've seen, Gundam Thunderbolt Bandit Flower now, and I really like the Akai variations they had in that. Like 2 mobility types, 2 offensive types, and then the radio type and the heavy arms type. Those were actually really cool. But then again, I have a soft spot for the designs in Gundam Thunderbolt. In fact, one of the 2 Gundam models that I own is a Master Grade full armor Gundam Thunderbolt version. It has a few problems. Its stand adapter broke, which was unfortunate. And one of its leg armors got warped, and I'm a little touchy about... because it fell, and it twisted. At least it didn't break. But I have to, like, hot water treat that. Armoro, don't you dare die on me. Char could have really gotten the reinforcement level down. Haha! Long last, we're working together. The Akai has been one of the most inconsistently depicted mobile suits in the series. You can't even get like a solid lock on what its armament is supposed to be, because every version of Gundam basically has their own idea of how the Akai is supposed to work. I just realized that the whole Bandit Flower interpretation of the multiple Akai variants could have been considered an inside joke on the fact that, what is this thing armed with anyway? Because they have, like, 6 versions just in that! Oh, if that was some sort of inside joke, that's brilliant. Oh, mid-air finisher, that always makes for a cool shot. Yeah, less battle points this time. Yeah, for example, here, it's going to be super easy to deal with the Big Zom. Why? Because we have shell weapons. We're not dependent upon beams. I don't have to get up its ass to damage it with a beam rifle. Granted, if you're running the Gundam, you've got a bazooka and the Gundam Hammer, and honestly, the Gundam Hammer's better at that job than anything else. And he's going to drift out of the map, which is going to kick me off. Slager canonically is supposed to die here anyway. Oh! Really use that low gravity to get some chain kicks in there.
See, once the big Zom is mastered, we'll put an end to the Federation in no time. I'm launching now. Take over.
Not like it can maneuver to evade the attacks either. Oh, wow, that... He's spooling out dialogue. Here's the weird part, because he's already done his death dialogue, but he's still spooling out dialogue. Now Armor is going to come in here and be all kind of mopey about it. This does have a sniper mode. This is great if you want to irritate your friends. Just constantly harass them with cannon fire. I've timed that perfectly. Note, the gun cannon does in fact have its own head Vulcans, but you're only allowed a main weapon and a sub-weapon and a melee weapon in this game, so that wasn't going to happen. Armor never even showed up that time.
You guys are so brutal.
Part of the reason why I record these repetitious fights per faction at the same time is because until you have beaten the special route per character, you can't just hot swap between the different factions. Now, I can understand wanting to obfuscate the fact that there were these bonus routes and that you could do that, but at the same time, I have to save and then load and then save and then load if I want to do one and then the other and then the other. And this way I can just do a bunch of them and then save, quit, and then load up and then just splice it together in the publishing on the channel.
Yeah, count on me. Well, so we're the only ones left to fight, huh? Gundam, please hang on.
Yes, his Gundam is supposed to be missing an arm already, but here's the weird part. In Federation vs. Xeon Deluxe, when the Gundam shows up in this battle, it is missing an arm. But here, it's just not. Which, okay. Because I'll be honest, I played Federation vs. Xeon Deluxe, and I think I already mentioned this. I played that before I actually saw the anime. And it didn't do a great job of explaining what in the hell was happening in the game. It doesn't do a great job in this game. If you don't have knowledge of what happens in the anime, this is all just a chaotic mess of what in the hell is happening.
I've got him. I can see the enemy.
It's a game intended for Gundam fans. I'm not sure a casual player would get the same kind of enjoyment out of this.
To get Lala involved, Char, you know she wasn't meant to be a warrior.
Damn. But I'm a new type as well.
Rick Dom has given me some static. Oh! Oh, that's a hell of a time to run out of cannon shells. Granted, the cooldown for them is like 2 seconds. Did he just fly into his own crackler? Okay, sure. That was as likely as anything to have happened. He's targeting me. Oh! I don't know how that hit. That was an extreme angle for the gun. Whoa! That was an extreme angle for the gun cannon to swing its barrel around. If I get hit with that mouth beam that has 0 tracking one more time. Oh, shot him in the mouth. Perfect way to give it right back to him. I did mention before that the Zeong had hip megaparticle cannons that are also not modeled in this game. If those had been combined with the mouth beam, then that secondary attack might have been more formidable. I have to assume that was done for balancing reasons. Kai has survived the fierce conflict, and the Zeon forces are now defeated. The Earth Sphere enters an era of peace. His route didn't really have any alternates. But 7 years later, Kai, now a journalist... Yeah, a journalist. Wink, right, I got ya. Now a suit... He's basically James Bond in Zeta Gundam. Let's be honest, he's James Bond. Journalist. Right. Oh. So that's Kai's route. And I mean, the funny part is after this, you're going to be watching a video that was recorded a year ago because of the intercut. Not like I have all the factions done already, but yeah. So, yeah. Stand by for the next one. I don't give my outros at the end of these. I'd be doing it forever.